NextLabs SkyDRM Desktop for macOS enables you to securely protect and manage files from your Mac desktop, seamlessly integrate with enterprise workflows, consistently protect across online and offline environments, and empower users to collaborate safely and stay compliant. In this demo, the classification categories are configured with the labels internal, confidential, secret, and restricted. 2 Active Directory users are included: John Tyler, whose company is Cipher Edge, and Jimmy Carter, whose company is Technova. The demo incorporates multiple file types, including Office documents, PDFs, image files, and CAD formats. Use Case 1: Protecting a file with SkyDRM Desktop for macOS. John Tyler protects a local file using a company-defined policy. He opens a protected file using the built-in SkyDRM viewer on macOS and reviews the file information. John Tyler protects another local file using a user-defined policy. He again uses a SkyDRM viewer on macOS to view the protected file and verify its information. John Tyler signs into SkyDRM Desktop for macOS. He selects a file and applies protection using the company-defined policy via SkyDRM Desktop. He chooses the internal label. After reviewing the permissions in the preview, he confirms and protects the file. The protected NXL file is generated in the same folder. He then checks the file information. John Tyler opens the file using the built-in SkyDRM viewer on macOS and reviews the file information within the viewer. John Tyler also protects a local file using a user-defined policy via SkyDRM Desktop for macOS. He selects all permissions and enables a watermark before applying protection. The protected file is created in the local folder. He reviews the file information. Then opens the protected file using the built-in SkyDRM viewer and verifies the file information within the viewer. Use Case 2: Sharing files via MySpace and Project. John Tyler protects a file and shares it with James Polk via MySpace. James Polk signs into SkyDRM Desktop for macOS and accesses the protected file shared by John Tyler. James Polk then protects the file into a SkyDRM project. John Tyler, as a member of the project, signs into SkyDRM Desktop for macOS and successfully accesses the protected file within the project. John Tyler shares a file from his local drive. He selects the desired permissions, applies a watermark, and clicks the Proceed button. He enters James Polk's email address and confirms the action. The file is uploaded and protected in MySpace on the SkyDRM portal. He opens the protected file using the SkyDRM viewer on macOS and reviews the file information. John Tyler then logs out of SkyDRM Desktop for macOS. James Polk logs into SkyDRM Desktop for macOS. After launching the application, he selects Shared with Me and views the protected file previously shared by John Tyler. He opens the file using the SkyDRM viewer and reviews the file information. Next, James Polk protects a file into a project on the SkyDRM portal using the company-defined policy. He chooses a label and proceeds. He opens the protected file in the project with the SkyDRM viewer on macOS and checks the file information. James Polk then logs out of SkyDRM Desktop for macOS. John Tyler logs back into SkyDRM Desktop for macOS. After launching the application, he navigates to the project, opens the protected file uploaded by James Polk using the SkyDRM viewer, and checks the file information within the viewer. Use case 3. Adding a protected file between SkyDRM spaces. John Tyler adds a protected file from Workspace to a project. John Tyler launches SkyDRM Desktop and navigates to Workspace. He selects a protected file and adds it to a folder within a project. After reviewing the permissions of the destination folder, he clicks Add. He then accesses the project, opens the designated folder, and views the protected file using the SkyDRM viewer on macOS. He checks the file information within the viewer. Use case 4. Number of uses and rights expiration. Jimmy Carter of Technova can open a protected file labeled internal up to 3 times. He can print a protected file labeled restricted up to 3 times. He can open a protected file labeled confidential only when the current date is within the right's validity period. He cannot open a protected file labeled confidential when the right's validity period has expired. Jimmy Carter launches SkyDRM Desktop for macOS and navigates to Workspace. He views the file information for a protected file labeled internal, which indicates he can open the file up to 3 times. He opens the file using the SkyDRM viewer, then checks the file information within the viewer, which now shows 2 remaining opens. He closes the file and opens it again. The information now shows one remaining open. He closes the file and opens it a third time. After closing the viewer, he checks the file information and sees the message, "You have reached the file usage limit." When he attempts to open the file again, the system displays, "You have no permission to access the file." Jimmy Carter then views the file information for a protected file classified with the restricted label. The information indicates he can print it up to 3 times. He opens the file in SkyDRM Viewer and prints it. After printing, he checks the information and sees 2 print attempts remaining. He reopens the file and prints it again. The information now shows 1 remaining print attempt. He prints the file one final time and checks the file information. He can no longer print the file and sees a message, "You have reached the usage limit." The print button in the viewer is now disabled. After closing and reopening the viewer, the print button remains disabled. The SkyDRM administrator logs in to the RMS admin console and opens the policy, "Allow Teknova users view expiration on confidential data policy." The rights validity period is configured from November 12, 2025 to November 12, 2026. Jimmy Carter launches SkyDRM Desktop for macOS, navigates to Workspace, and protects a file using the confidential label. He views the file information and sees that access is allowed between November 12, 2025 and November 12, 2026. He then opens the file using the SkyDRM viewer and verifies the file information. Later, the administrator returns to the RMS admin console and updates the validity period to November 12, 2025, 12 a.m. till November 12, 2025, 4:59 a.m., then deploys the policy. The current date and time is Wednesday the 12th, 5:51 a.m. Jimmy Carter checks the file information again and sees the message, Permission is outside of the authorized validity period. When he attempts to open the file, access is denied with, "You have no permission to access the NXL file." Use case 5. Accessing protected files while offline. Jimmy Carter marks protected files in Workspace for offline use. He can access these offline protected files even when the network is disconnected. Jimmy Carter launches SkyDRM Desktop for macOS and navigates to Workspace. He protects a file into Workspace and marks it as available offline. He protects another file and marks it as available offline. He then disconnects from Wi-Fi. SkyDRM Desktop automatically switches to offline mode, and he is still able to open both protected files using the SkyDRM viewer, where he can view the permissions within the viewer. Use case 6. Trusted application integration. SkyDRM Desktop for macOS seamlessly integrates with commonly used productivity and engineering tools. These applications are configured as trusted applications, allowing users to open protected files directly within them. John Tyler configures a folder as a SkyDRM folder. Within a SkyDRM folder, the .nxl extension of protected files is hidden. He protects a .dwg file and successfully opens it using Autodesk AutoCAD, which is configured as a trusted application. He then protects a .pptx file and opens it in Microsoft PowerPoint, also configured as a trusted application. John Tyler signs into SkyDRM Desktop for macOS. He configures a folder named Example File under the Downloads directory as a SkyDRM folder. This folder is displayed as example file underscore SkyDRM. He configures Autodesk AutoCAD as a trusted application. He navigates into this folder and protects the file model2.dwg using the internal label. The file is protected as model21.dwg without the .nxl visible and appears with the SkyDRM emblem. He opens a protected file which launches Autodesk AutoCAD. Next, he configures PowerPoint as a trusted application. He protects a PowerPoint file within the same folder. The file is protected as lorem ipsum1.pptx without the .nxl extension visible and displayed with the SkyDRM emblem. He opens a protected file launching Microsoft PowerPoint. This concludes our demonstration. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to watch more of our videos, please subscribe to NextLabs.